Hi, my name is David Batsoffen. Welcome to In Conversation With, which is part of my blog called Travel and Things. And today I'm joined once again. I so like talking to Michelle du Plessis, who's the Managing Director of FGASA. Michelle, once again, welcome to the show. And thanks for joining me once again.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, David.
Michelle, let's talk. We're in strange times. I think that's almost the catchphrase now. We're living in strange times, or in challenging times. And FGASA, which is a theory and practical based course organization, how are you guys dealing with this now? The fact that people can't be in the bush, certainly can't do the practical. Are they going to be able to do theory while in lockdown at home or wherever they are?
David, yes, absolutely. FGASA embarked on a strategy to go more digital and make things easier for guides, for assessors, for training providers, etc. Throughout our organization. And with COVID on the line, we had to accelerate that. So immediately what we did was we took the entry-level qualification, which is the NQF2, which is the Apprentice Field Guide, and we've now made that totally digital from a materials perspective, because remember, FGASA we've developed our own materials and manuals for our qualifications.
Right.
So those are vital when you do the qualification. You've got to get those manuals to help you through the qualification. So we created the ebooks on that. So that was step one. We also did that for the Marine Guide, which is an add-on to the NQF2 Nature Guide qualification. And we also then embarked on making it available for the nature enthusiast. So those are the three at the moment that we've done digitally. And obviously we want to make the materials digital throughout the qualification, and that will just take time and budget.
Yeah.
So what it means theoretically is that anybody can sign up for the course and get the books digitally. They can also choose to have the books in hard copy, which is what a lot of people want to do. They still want to have the books.
You want to make notes and scribbles in the margin.
Yeah, absolutely. But the main impact that this has had is really for our training providers, because they have been stuck during this time, A, with no students, B, some with students where they are not able to operate or train at all. So it's been quite a crisis for us, or for them in particular. So a lot of them had already as well been thinking like we have, and had already started doing development on digital. So they have now formulated with our content the modules into an online course that can be purchased and done anywhere across the planet. So that is just so exciting, because now they're getting creative and they're filming and they're doing webinars and they, doing presentations, and all of this is digital. So, and that's really exciting, because it takes training to a new level, like it has done across the world.
It does indeed. And also at the moment, I think the positives that we can take out of this situation are exactly that. All of a sudden things are going online. Yes, there's still going to be a practical aspect. You can't do everything digitally, but it's just a new direction, as you said, and one that can, so that our time at home is spent productively rather than just mindlessly watching television series after series after series and complaining bitterly about everything.
What it also has done, David, is that it's given people that are already in the workplace an opportunity as well. Because remember, with our training providers, they were always targeting guides wanting to come into the fold. Also, people wanting to just get that experience from a nature perspective, and sort of possibly a gap year or a volunteer program. That also makes up a lot of our FGASA training, because it's in Africa.
Yeah.
And so a lot of international people do this. A lot of South Africans do it as an interim measure. But what the online now does is it gives the opportunity for someone who would want to be a guide that's already in hospitality, So it means now that they can go on, sign up with one of our providers and go, okay, I'm going to do the modules and I'm going to phase it over a certain amount of time. And they can do an hour or two a day in between their jobs when they're resting or on their leave cycle. So that's a positive for us, because before, when you picked a training provider's course, you were there for a minimum of 50 days straight.
Yeah.
And not many people can take that time out. You know, I'm talking people that could be in the workplace and wanting to change careers, or people wanting to just improve themselves. It's quite a thing to take 2 months, roughly 2 months out of your career to go and do this full time. So the online has now created that opportunity, which is really exciting.
Michelle,
and then also,
go ahead also.
Now I've lost my train of thought. So you carry on.
All right. I was watching a show last night, and they kept saying over, like you would do on a radio call, so that the people on the other side, because there was a 2-second delay. So the guy would say over, and then the other guy would pick up the thread. So my question was going to be, see, one of us remembered, my question was going to be, are you able to write an exam, a theoretical exam online, or would that have to wait for the end of wherever so that you could do it together with your practical?
No, we've had to, you know, really relook at how things were structured, and definitely people are able to write the online exam. So we're very excited. We're going to be kicking off with, again, the entry-level exam next month, from the 15th of June. So anyone that's registered and had time to study is able to do that and write it. And we'll be doing that with all our levels. It's a new thing, so obviously there's a pilot, and we are prepared for some glitches should there be, but that will be done through our website. That's the first opportunity for someone to write the exam. Or, as we always did before, training providers can do that on site where they are, or their students can do it online as well. So we've created those opportunities. And again, just remember, it's not about the theory. At the end of the day, that is only part of the qualification. So the person doing this course would have to get the practical time for the final practical assessment. But what the online has done now for training providers is that it's created a shorter practical time. Because let's face it, those costs are astronomical. You know, we've got training providers in the most unbelievable locations in Southern Africa. And there's fees associated with that, and huge costs in terms of vehicles and concession fees and location, and obviously live-in and remoteness. So, you know, having students on site for nearly 2 months is a huge whack. And that also contributes to these courses that are quite costly. So now what it does is that having your online your theory taken care of on wherever you are in the world, you then come for a shorter time. And we've identified that time to be 35 days. So from now on, training providers will be able to offer a 35-day practical, which obviously links to the theory that they've already signed up for. And only after the practical will they get the final qualification, as always, like previously.
Michelle, on your website, on the FGASA website, is there a list of the training providers that you work with? You've alluded to the fact that you work with many training providers. Are these on your website so that if people go there, they can say, aha, there's X, Y, and Z, and I can now contact them and we can take it from there?
Yes, absolutely. So you can go onto our website. And again, you know, it depends on what the person is looking for. It depends on where the person is located.
Yeah.
You know, it's like having a bouquet of services and you wanting to buy a new car. You know, where are you going to go? You're going to go where you've got relationships. You're going to go possibly, you know, where you've got some experience with that service provider.
Right.
So all our, you know, the thing about FGASA and our training providers is that you're going to get a high standard of training because they are all following our criteria and our standards. And then obviously there's individuality that gets thrown into it, you know,
Yes.
where they're adding extra things and exciting things like photography and, you know, those added components into the course, which are add-ons.
Yeah.
But anybody wanting to do a FGASA course with a training provider can be assured that they will get the best standard because they are following a set standard.
Great stuff.
So all providers are endorsed by us annually, and they follow the criteria. So it doesn't really matter at the end of the day where you get your FGASA qualification with any one of our training providers. But again, it's what fits with you.
Yeah.
You know?
And once again, if people want to contact FGASA, it's very simple. You go to their website, which is www.fgasa.co.za, and it's FGASA. Not as I tried to find it on FGASA, F-E. There is no E in FGASA. Michelle, once again, thank you so much for chatting to me. We will be talking again in the not too distant future. And I'm happy to see that the first exam takes place on my birthday. So maybe I should do some studying.
Okay.
It would be a great birthday present to myself if I could actually pass this course eventually.
Well, have you set the date? Will you be writing? Then we'll be holding thumbs for you.
I'll be holding thumbs for me as well. Michelle, thanks once again for being in conversation with. I'm David Batsoffen, and you can find this on www.travelandthings.co.za.